Hold up, did you hear what just went down? Mendeecees Harris. Yes, that Mendeecees has just been arrested after Erica Mena claimed he straight up attacked her. And baby, the internet is burning. Yandy. Oh, poor Yandy. She was just standing there, frozen, watching her husband get hauled away like it was the series finale of Love and Lockup. But wait, this wasn't scripted. Or was it? I mean, how did we go from a peaceful reality show retreat to flashing blue lights, screaming accusations, and a man in cuffs while producers kept the cameras rolling like it was the Super Bowl? And let's be real, is Erica telling the truth, or just pulling another stunt for that sweet storyline boost? Now here's what really has people whispering: did Mendeecees snap and lose control? Or did Erica just play the messiest power move reality TV has ever seen? Because when the cops show up, the phones start recording, and the truth becomes a matter of editing. You already know somebody's career, somebody's relationship, and somebody's reputation is about to go straight into the shredder. So buckle up, grab your popcorn, and get ready, because this story is about to get ugly. They said it was just another calm, tropical retreat, a place where reality TV stars could put aside the usual drama and maybe, just maybe, learn how to breathe. But what really happened felt more like the pilot episode of a new courtroom series filmed live with no script, no edits, and no mercy. At the center of this explosion stood Mendeecees Harris, who swore up and down that he was a changed man, a peaceful man, a family man. But when the cuffs came out and Erica Mena's voice hit that panicked pitch, all those claims started falling apart faster than the retreat's guest list. The cameras were rolling, of course, because they always are. But nobody expected they'd be capturing what could be the most jaw-dropping scandal of the season, if not the entire Love and Hip Hop franchise. The retreat had started normal enough: tropical drinks, small talk, producers smiling in the background, thinking they'd get a few good bites, but underneath that glossy setup, tension was already crackling like a fuse, just waiting for somebody to light the match. Bambi and Spice were the first ones to raise the temperature. What started as a joke about Jamaican slang turned into side-eyes, slick comments, and full-blown verbal sparring. It was loud, it was messy, and it was being captured from every angle. While all this was going down, Erica Mena was sitting in the corner, unusually quiet, not sipping her drink, not checking her phone, just watching. Her eyes were locked in, her expression unreadable. That's when the energy shifted. Suddenly, she stood up and walked right toward Mendeecees. Nobody thought anything of it at first. Maybe it was just another confrontation, another one-liner for the highlight reel. But what happened next sent shockwaves across the entire resort. Erica leaned in close, and with the coldest tone, she said, "Y'all only show up when the cameras are rolling. In real life, you're just as fake as the rest." That's when Mendeecees, who had been standing next to Yandy quietly, turned toward her. His face didn't change much, but you could see it in his jaw, the tension, the restraint. He told her to stop, told her to walk away. But Erica wasn't done. "You act like you're a stand-up guy," she said. "Fix your house before talking about mine." And that was it. The breaking point. Mendeecees stepped forward, hand raised, not in a violent way, not a hit, but enough to cause a reaction. And that's exactly what Erica gave him. She jumped back, dramatically, yelling loud enough for half the resort to hear, "Don't touch me, I'll call the police right now." Phones whipped out. Cameras zoomed in. Yandy rushed in between them, grabbing Mendeecees by the arm, whispering something through clenched teeth that no mic could catch. But the damage, already done. Within minutes, sirens were heard in the distance. Lights flashing, security running up, producers scrambling, trying to figure out if this was still a TV show or a crime scene. And there stood Erica, voice cracking but steady, telling everyone around her, "I'm pressing charges. He came at me." Some believed her, others didn't. But the police didn't wait around for a consensus. They pulled Mendeecees aside, asked him what happened. He told them it was nothing, just an argument, no hands were laid. But then came the phone footage. Blurry, shaky, but damning. It showed the moment Mendeecees stepped forward, finger raised, voice firm, posture tense. It didn't show an attack, but it didn't look good either. It looked like something that needed to be handled away from all the eyes and noise. So they detained him. Not arrested officially. Not yet, but they put him in the car, and that was enough to set the internet on fire. Yandy stood there, her face frozen, arms wrapped around herself like she was holding in a scream. The quiet that fell over the resort was louder than any argument, People weren't whispering anymore, they were texting, posting, sharing clips, starting polls. Was Erica telling the truth? Did Mendeecees lose control? Or was this just a setup, the kind that gets your name trending for all the wrong reasons? Yandy didn't speak, didn't cry. She just watched as the car drove off. Mendeecees sitting inside with his face half hidden, eyes blank. Back at the villa, she sat on the edge of the bed for what felt like hours. Her phone lit up with messages, missed calls, tagged posts. She didn't open a single one. She just stared. Meanwhile, in another room across the resort, Erica sat on her balcony, scrolling through the same footage, her face tight, lips pressed together, not crying, not smiling, just watching the internet explode with speculation. Some were defending her. Others were calling her out, saying she'd done it before, played the victim, stirred the pot. Producers came knocking on her door, asking if she wanted to film a confessional. She waved them off. Not now, she said. Let the footage speak for itself. But there was something off about her tone. Calm, too calm. The kind of calm that made you wonder if the whole thing had been rehearsed. The next morning, headlines spread like wildfire. Reality star Mendeecees detained after heated incident. Erica Mena accuses castmate of assault. Yandy Smith caught in chaos. Everyone had an opinion. Fans were digging up old clips, old tweets, past drama between Erica and Mendeecees that now seemed way too suspicious to ignore. Blogs were reposting the video in slow motion. Analysts, yes, literal social media analysts, were breaking down Mendeecees' body language like it was part of a Netflix true crime documentary. Erica's supporters launched a hashtag. Mendeecees' defenders started one of their own. It was war. Yandy didn't post anything, just a black screen with a single word. Praying. That said more than any statement could. Meanwhile, producers called an emergency meeting. Too much had happened. Too fast, they paused filming. Told cast members to stay in their rooms, but nobody stayed quiet. Everyone had something to say. Spice was overheard telling someone, "I don't think he touched her, but she knows how to make it look like he did." That little soundbite got leaked too, and it added gasoline to an already blazing fire. Back in her room, Yandy finally answered a call. It was Mendeecees' lawyer. The news wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. He'd be held overnight, maybe longer, depending on Erica's statement. The lawyer said there were inconsistencies. But once something's on camera, it doesn't really matter what's real, it matters how it looks. That's when Yandy broke. She didn't cry, she didn't scream, but her body just sort of folded in on itself. "I told him," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. "I told him not to get caught up in this mess again, because it wasn't just about what happened, it was about what it looked like happened. And once the world gets a taste of scandal, they don't let go easy." A few hours later, Erica sat with one of the producers for a private talk. No cameras, just a voice recorder and a notebook. Her voice was firm. She said Mendeecees stepped toward her in a threatening way, said she feared for her safety, said she had to protect herself. But the way she talked, it didn't sound like someone reliving a trauma. It sounded like someone reading from a well-rehearsed script. Then came the final blow. A clip leaked from behind the scenes. Erica caught whispering to a producer just after the police arrived. "Make sure they get my good side when he walks away. I want the angle right." And that was it. The twist nobody expected. Because if that clip was real, and it sounded real, then the whole story might have just flipped upside down. And Yandy, she saw it. Someone sent it to her. She played it, once, then again. Then again. Her face went pale. Not because she was surprised, but because deep down, she'd already suspected. That's when she stood up. Not shaking, not panicked, just focused. Quiet rage in her chest. She grabbed her phone, walked into the kitchen, where Mendeecees had sat just hours earlier, and said, "You need to see this." He watched the clip, his face blank at first, then slowly shifting. Not into anger, but something worse, disappointment. "You believe me now?" he asked. And Yandy just nodded once, slowly. She wasn't sure what to believe, but she knew one thing for certain. They'd been set up. And this wasn't just TV anymore. This was war. This was war. It was around 3 a.m. when Mendeecees was finally released. Not because the situation had been resolved, but because the legal process needed to stretch out in courtrooms instead of hotel lobbies. The footage wasn't clear enough for a direct assault charge, and the statements were conflicting. But the damage, already nationwide, He walked out with his hoodie pulled low, not saying a word. While Yandy waited in the car staring dead ahead, not offering comfort, just space, that ride back to the villa was silent. No music, no discussion, just the soft hum of the wheels over gravel and the echo of what had just happened still ringing in both their minds. Mendeecees finally broke the silence. "She's lying," he said, eyes still fixed on the road. "You saw that video. You heard what she said to the producer." Yandy didn't deny it. She knew what she saw, but knowing and proving? That's where the war begins. Erica, meanwhile, had already pivoted. Her team released a carefully worded statement online by morning. Ms. Mena was frightened for her safety after an unexpected altercation occurred during filming. She is cooperating fully with authorities and prioritizing her emotional well-being at this time. That little note went viral faster than her actual footage. Everyone had a take. Podcasts were spinning up emergency episodes. Gossip pages posted side-by-side comparison clips of Erica's past breakdowns. Some suggesting she'd weaponized her emotions before, others reminding everyone that trauma doesn't always look the same. The narrative was split. Team Erica versus Team Mendeecees, and Yandy trapped in the middle. She tried calling the producers for clarity, asking if they'd address the leaked whisper clip, but their response was cold. "That wasn't part of the official footage. We can't confirm its origin." Translation: "We're staying out of it. Legal heat is not part of the show's budget." But here's where it gets darker. One anonymous crew member decided they'd had enough of the fakery. They went straight to a blog under the condition of anonymity and spilled everything. She knew what she was doing, the message read. There were talks about needing a big moment for the retreat special. Erica was frustrated. She wasn't getting enough screen time. The confrontation was rehearsed more than once. The angle, the words, the drama, none of it was spontaneous. That leak cracked the internet open. Suddenly, people were combing through every second of that confrontation with magnifying glasses. Some started spotting inconsistencies, how Erica's tone shifted just before security arrived. How conveniently a camera just happened to be rolling in her direction while others were panning to Bambi and Spice. It all began to feel like a chess game with cameras. But it wasn't just online speculation anymore. A second clip surfaced. Erica, seated during a break, talking to her makeup artist, unknowingly recorded on a hot mic. "I swear, if I don't get that reunion invite, I'm burning this whole place down," she said, laughing. "One scene, and I'll have everyone talking." That line echoed across the timeline like a confession. But even then, some fans were reluctant to condemn her. Others asked, what if she was threatened and is just covering it up with humor? The public couldn't decide if they were watching a villain, a victim, or a master manipulator playing both. Yandy's silence started raising eyebrows too. Some accused her of trying to protect Mendeecees by staying quiet, while others begged her to speak out and expose the truth. But Yandy wasn't hiding. She was watching, studying, planning, because if she spoke too early, the wrong narrative could stick. And if there's one thing she's learned in this industry, it's that timing is everything. Behind the scenes, conversations were happening at a pace faster than news cycles. VH1 execs were in panic mode. A lawsuit from Erica could tank the show. A lawsuit from Mendeecees could expose production manipulation. So they did what networks always do, they started distancing themselves. Cast members got emails stating that the show's upcoming reunion was postponed due to unforeseen events. Mendeecees was told not to attend press events until further notice. Erica was given media talking points by her publicist to follow. But someone forgot to give Yandy a script. That's when she took matters into her own hands. She went live. No glam, no filter, no lighting. Just her, raw and unpolished. Speaking straight to the camera. "Y'all want me to say something?" She started. "Fine, I'll say it. I watched the whole thing go down. I stood in between them. I heard what was said, and I saw what y'all didn't." The comments exploded. Tens of thousands of people flooded the stream. And Yandy didn't hold back. "We've all had our moments on this show. We've said things we regret. We've done things for the cameras. But there's a line between playing messy and weaponizing it. Erica knew exactly what she was doing. And I'm tired of protecting everyone else's image while mine gets dragged into the dirt." That clip was reposted on every blog within minutes. Suddenly, the tide began to shift. Fans who were previously on the fence started asking tougher questions. If Yandy says it wasn't real, and there's leaked footage proving manipulation, then why is Mendeecees still being treated like he's guilty? That question hit hard. And not just for viewers. Legal teams started sniffing around the production. Lawyers began asking for raw tapes. Discovery requests were allegedly filed. VH1 tightened internal access to footage. But you can't unring a bell. And you can't unsee what's already on the internet. That's when Erica tried flipping the story. She released a tearful apology video. Claimed she was overwhelmed, confused, and that the moment spiraled out of control. But it was too late. The footage, the audio, the whispers, they all painted a different picture. One where she wasn't confused, she was calculating. One where this wasn't an emotional outburst, it was a performance. A few brave cast members started speaking out to Bambi said, "That retreat was toxic. Everyone had their cameras ready, but only a few of us had our eyes open." Spice added, "I don't like drama that puts people in jail. Period. That's where I draw the line." Meanwhile, Mendeecees was keeping quiet, per legal advice. But behind the scenes, he was preparing his counterattack. Not a violent one. Not a statement, even just facts. Lawyers, footage, depositions. He wasn't going to let his name be dragged through fake tears and viral sympathy. And Yandy was standing right beside him. Not because she blindly supports him, but because she knows the difference between real and reality TV. They'd been through storms before: prison, custody battles, cheating rumors, but this felt different. This felt like a war built on lies that could ruin everything they'd rebuilt. And for Erica, well, she might have gotten the spotlight, but she also got something else: scrutiny. Suddenly, every past claim, every tearful scene, every emotional breakdown was being revisited. And the question became not what did Mendeecees do, but how long has Erica been scripting the drama? Because if one setup was proven, who's to say it was the first? Or the last? What started as a headline had turned into a hurricane of consequences. Not just for the people involved, but for the entire show. And now, the producers, the crew, the executives, they were all scrambling, not just to save the season, but to save themselves from what might be the biggest unraveling in reality TV history. And just when everyone thought things couldn't get messier, the story took a left turn that nobody saw coming. A sealed deposition got leaked from a source that claimed to be a former production assistant, someone who had allegedly worked closely with both Erica and the post-editing team. This bombshell document didn't just raise eyebrows, it cracked the whole scandal wide open. The document claimed that certain scenes were edited out intentionally to remove context that would have cleared Mendeecees. It detailed how Erica had insisted on doing multiple takes of her emotional breakdown, reportedly saying, "It needs to look raw, not staged. Let's do it again." The assistant swore under oath that producers were in on it. According to the leak, they believed that framing Mendeecees in a volatile light would boost ratings since their recent episodes had started to underperform. With that revelation out in the open, the online mob turned feral. Fans flooded VH1's social media pages, demanding answers. Why are you protecting Erica? Why are men always presumed guilty? How can you let your editing room destroy someone's life? Yandy, for her part, didn't even need to speak anymore. The silence between her and the network was louder than any statement. But it was Mendeecees' lawyer who finally fired the first legal missile. They filed a multi-million-dollar defamation and emotional distress suit, naming not only Erica but several producers and one of the network's top executives. The claim that the entire storyline was falsified with the intent to harm his character, brand, and safety. The filing even included the text messages exchanged between producers and Erica during off hours, showing phrases like, "Lean into it, this is your storyline now, and make it believable." The court document also detailed how Mendeecees was kept in the dark, with producers intentionally pushing him into confrontational situations without warning. But even more shocking was the inclusion of a never-before-seen message where Erica texted a friend saying, "This man gonna learn today. I'm tired of being ignored. One good scandal and I'll be the top of the call sheet again." That was the nail in the coffin for many fans. Sympathy for Erica turned into skepticism, then into full-blown outrage. Comment sections that were once filled with support now read like exposes. She played the game, but at what cost? This ain't empowerment. This is entrapment. We supported her through pain, but now we're realizing we were part of the lie. Meanwhile, producers tried damage control. They released a vague statement emphasizing the complexity of editing reality television and respect for all involved parties. But the public wasn't buying it. People wanted accountability. And when pressure hit its peak, the network had no choice but to announce an independent internal investigation into the production process of that season. Cameras were shut off. Filming paused. The reunion was cancelled indefinitely. But in the midst of all that chaos, Yandy was finally seen again, not on a set, not on Instagram Live, but walking into a courthouse with Mendeecees. She stood tall beside him, not as a co-star but as a wife. A woman who had spent years watching her man be judged, locked up, dragged online, and now framed again. She knew pain, but she also knew power. And this time, they weren't going to let the narrative be rewritten by anyone else. Erica, meanwhile, had gone completely radio silent. No tweets, no Insta stories, no press. Her team allegedly pulled her out of town, citing emotional exhaustion. But insiders whispered that she was being prepped for possible countersuits and serious PR rehab. Because once that court footage went public, once her text messages, mixed-up scheming, and failed acting cues were all presented together, the public wouldn't just cancel her, they'd erase her. But here's where things take a truly twisted turn. According to one anonymous production manager, Erica was already planning her comeback. In private calls, she was reportedly pitching a docuseries called The Cost of Fame, centered around how reality TV manipulated her life and image. In her version, she was the victim of a toxic system that rewarded controversy over character. She claimed she was told to make waves or fade out, and that her actions were the result of pressure, not malice. But again, the receipts told a different story. Screenshots kept surfacing. Clips kept circulating. The whispering continued. Even former reality stars started chiming in. One tweeted, "This is why I left the game. They'll sell your downfall as a highlight reel and call it content." Another posted, "Nothing worse than being cast as the villain in someone else's script." And through it all, Mendeecees remained unusually composed, not because he wasn't angry, but because he knew what came next. Redemption. After years of working to repair his public image post-prison, he wasn't going to let a scripted lie undo it all. So he leaned into the truth, not with emotion, but with facts. His legal team announced a documentary project of their own. Raw footage. Behind-the-scenes secrets. Industry testimonies. It promised to uncover how easily reality TV could blur truth and fiction, especially when money and fame are on the line. And the kicker? The trailer ended with Yandy's voiceover saying, "This ain't entertainment, this is real life. And we're done being your storyline." That one line sent shockwaves across social media. Fans reposted it, media outlets picked it up, and even critics admitted it hit hard. Because behind the glam, the chaos, the viral moments, and the confessions was a very real truth, that lives can be destroyed in the name of ratings. Careers can be crushed with one fake storyline. And once the damage is done, there's no edit button that can make it right. As for Erica, the court dates loomed. The defamation suit was moving forward, and whispers of criminal charges for filing a false report were being discussed behind closed doors. Her silence was no longer powerful, it was incriminating. Meanwhile, Yandy and Mendeecees were preparing for a new chapter. Not just to clear their names, but to take back control. No more producers shaping their legacy. No more edited moments, distorting the truth. And certainly no more castmates using them as cannon fodder for clout. They were done playing by the rules of reality TV. Now, they were writing their own script. One where the real drama wasn't what happened on camera but what happened when the cameras stopped rolling. And this time, the world would see everything, unfiltered, uncut, unapologetic. So now that all the pieces are on the table, the question is, where do you stand? After all the clips, the whispers, the leaked texts, and that shady behind-the-scenes footage, is Mendeecees the villain they painted him to be, or was he just another pawn in Erica's perfectly plotted reality TV play? And what about Yandy? Is she the real one trying to hold it all together while the world crumbles around her? Or did she stay quiet for too long? We've broken it all down, but now it's your turn to weigh in. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. Are you Team Erica, Team Mendeecees, or Team They're All Messy and I Just Want the Tea? Hit that like button if this breakdown had you hooked from start to finish. Make sure to subscribe because we've got more scandals, more receipts, and more behind-the-scenes truth bombs coming your way. And trust next time, it's going to be even juicier. Turn those notifications on so you never miss a moment when the drama breaks wide open. This is your one-stop shop for the truth behind the drama. This is GoopPub, and we're just getting started.